sports fans, welcome to another edition of What's Happening in College Football, our Saturday morning talk show. I got my man FanDuel Zaya here with me from the FanDuel Zaya podcast. How you feeling on this Saturday morning?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I get some stuff done today after the stream, but it's a beautiful day outside for sure. Might have to hit that rib fest, give me some ribs, man.
Man, I heard them ribs is like $30 a rack. Is that
Man,
true?
I don't need a rack. I just need 3 bones.
3 bones. Hey man, have yourself a good time. Go early, man, so you don't have to run into the crazies will be coming at night.
I'm already knowing.
I feel you, bro. I'm glad to have you here with me this morning as we're going to be talking some college football news, and we're going to also talk about games that are going to take place in week 8 that we think will be interesting matchups, games that we feel like will have start to have playoff uh, implications because we're in week 8, heading to the back end of the college football season, and we're going to tackle some of those games and see what we think about those matchups. But before we get into those games, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about some of the stuff that's going on in college football right now. I know in the SEC, they've been talking about this question right here. Should college football institute a defensive delay of game rule when teams wait to substitute to run out the play clock? We know a lot of times offensive teams, we already know that when the offensive team substitute, the defensive team gets a chance to substitute. But a lot of times those defensive teams have been waiting as long as they can to get their defense out there, possibly trying to run out the play clock so the teams have to use timeouts. What's your thoughts on this rule? Should they only have 3 seconds to make the substitution that they need to make or start making the substitution they need to make after the offensive players make their substitution?
So I think all them rules, they already changed one. They changed the one that made us lose the game against Oregon. It was they was playing within the rule book, but everybody understand, like, if you get a runoff for 10 seconds after having, like, what, they had 12 people on the field or something like that, and they had a 10-second runoff. That's why we wasn't able to get a playoff. And then they changed the rule with the injury. If they think that you are faking an injury on field and you're trying to hold the game up, then I think it's some type of penalty or something. So that's the last step for real, the substitution, to get all that situated. So I absolutely think they need to go ahead and tap into that rule and figure out a solution for that, because that's a advantage for the defensive team that might not be ready for a team that's trying to do a hurry up, maybe in a late game situation. So I definitely think they need to go ahead and tap into that rule.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that it should take place as well. Um, because like you said earlier with that 10-second runoff and all of that kind of stuff, you got to get this thing to where no team has an advantage. Um, so I definitely think that they should put it in place to make sure that we can have an even playing field. I hate those rules where you got those gray areas and those coaches, man, they're so smart. They got so many guys on their coaching staff. They're going to find a gray area, man, and they're going
Facts.
to live in it. And I think we need to get rid of gray areas so that teams aren't able to do or pull off like what Oregon did last year against Ohio State or in any other game. So I definitely think they should get this rule implemented uh, so that we can even out this game when it comes to the offensive defensive play. Was there anything that stuck out to you during the SEC media days?
I didn't get to catch a lot of it, but the main thing is that I wanted to get some answers to. I kind of tapped into, which Tennessee's Josh Heupel was talking about the QB battle and how it's wide open. Tennessee is one of them programs that this year that I feel like if they can just find uh, competent quarterback play, I think they can make another run at this playoff. Now, I think they got the rest of the roster um, to make another move in the SEC this year and get a large bid. But it's gonna come down to that quarterback room. So that's the main questions I got for a team in the SEC is who's gonna be the quarterback at Tennessee.
Yeah, yeah. A couple of things stuck out to me as well. I really and it's a question in there. I think the next question is about this or something similar to it. But we know how NIL and how this recruiting and things are going. There's so many coaches really they got things to say about it as if they not playing the same kind of ball game. You know what I'm saying? It's like you you're doing. Everybody is trying to do the same thing. Now you got your instances where you got some teams they like, hey, I'm just not gonna pay that for a guy that hasn't gotten on the field yet. And but in this SEC media day, you had some coaches, of course, talking about Texas being able to land those two guys that they land, but they missed on a lot of guys too because they just really weren't ready to pay that price. And so since they didn't, they had some money on the back end to go ahead and go after those two guys that they ended up pulling out of Georgia. So
Yeah.
you heard some talk about that, and then it was I don't know how they botched this, but that was crazy. Steve Sarkisian goes out to the podium and they're freaking playing Texas A&M's fight song. I'm like, dude, how could you botch that? I mean,
Somebody did that on purpose, bro.
that guy's gotta be on purpose, right? Was you trolling? Was you trying to get some bites, some likes? What was that
That
all about, man? That you
was
gonna play?
definitely a troll, dog.
That was definitely
Hey,
a troll.
was his face looking crazy?
No, he played like he didn't even hear it. You know
Respect
what
to
I'm saying?
him, bro.
He
That would
totally,
have tripped
yeah,
me out.
yeah, totally played it off, and I'm like, wow. So that kind of stuck out to me. But I like the fact that most of those teams brought their quarterbacks to the SEC media day. Only one who didn't was Texas A&M. Their Marcel, their no, what's his name?
Marcel Reed. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Marcel Reed is not one of their captains, so they didn't bring him out. That kind of like, dude, this dude started for you last year. This should be there. But that kind of stuck out to me too. That he wasn't one of the players chosen to come, and he's not a captain on their team. So that kind of like threw me a little bit.
That's it could be other guys
Yeah,
in the program that just may be more the heart of the team. Just you know, as far as like day to day, like even off the field, they just probably lead by example. I don't think that's really a slight on Marcel Reed because he
yeah,
wasn't. He didn't come into the year starting last year.
yeah. He didn't come in and start. That is true. That is true. Glad you
And
pointed that out.
since we already had leading into this next question, um, I want to tap into the Justin Haynes thing too, but I don't know. You can read the question off real quick.
Should there be an executive order to put a cap on players' NIL deals? Will that help with what seems to be a bidding war for high-ranking players?
So look, this the thing. It's two different types of programs right now that I see. It's people that's playing the gray area and it's people that's not. And the people that's playing the gray area, I don't have no issue with it at all. They're playing within the rules. If it's a gray area, you could take advantage of. I think that is fair game because the rules are written in a manner to where you can do that. So until they fix it, I don't consider that cheating. I just use all tools at your disposal. It's like a street fight, bro. If you can pick up a brick, you're gonna pick up a brick if you need to. Um, and that's where I'm not liking my Ohio State Buckeyes NIL because we're picking the side of house settlement. So what Bajork think is gonna come down the pike later on is that a lot of these NIL deals is going to have to go through court and litigation throughout this whole time since the settlement been approved, and they think it's going to be some money that a lot of these programs that is playing the gray area is going to have to pay back. So that's why you see in our class is like not after a natty, it's not like popping how it's supposed to be. And I don't think it needs to be an executive order. I think we need to let this year go, just to see and get a feel for it, because this is all still brand new. And
Mhm.
then when that time this time next year comes around, we just need to go back to the drawing board, and it need to keep on happening. We need to keep experimenting with new and newer things until we get it right.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that too. We need to keep it as it is and just keep on coming back and fixing what needs to be fixed. I don't think an executive order needs to take place. I think they're going to be able to figure it out. There's enough buzz around it on the positive side and the negative side for it to get fixed anyway. So I think that in time they'll go ahead and get this thing together and get it to where it needs to be. I don't
Yeah.
think an executive order needs to take place. Um, it, I mean, right now the way things are going right now, I mean, we need this to happen so we can know what the negative side of things are and what the positive sides of things are. So I'm okay with if it's a bidding wars out there, I'm okay with that because eventually it's going to get ironed out. It's going to get fixed because we don't have people out there saying that we're going to keep this same system for infinitum. So I'm not really worried about it. I think it's going to get fixed in time. And all I know is, as long as you have a good program, you're going to have GMs, coaches, athletic directors that are going to make sure that your program is going to be right there at the top. They're going to make sure that they do everything they need to do to make sure that your program is getting what it needs and making things happen. So, and no big time program is going to fall off because of what's going on with this NIL stuff.
So look though, I think Justin Haynes' deal just opened up a whole new rabbit hole. He got an equity deal. So how will the clearinghouse be able to value his deal and say is he worth this deal considered to his NIL name, image, likeness value? Uh, and that's where we start to get sticky because bro, that equity deal can turn out to be tens of millions of dollars, bro. It just depends on how a company blow up. There's
Mhm.
no way to control a company blowing up, bro. So I think we just opened up a whole new rabbit box. I think that is the first deal of its kind in the NIL era, bro. And kudos to that young man because he's thinking business savvy, and that's what these dudes got to do. But I'm real curious to see how they gonna start doing these deals because if I'm like somebody like Arch Manning, Jeremiah Smith, the big names, I'm taking all equity deals. Actually, I wouldn't even take nothing else. I wouldn't take the upfront cash. The money is better on the back end anyway.
Yeah, that's a good point that you made because I haven't heard about his deal.
I
And
sent it to y'all in the chat.
yeah,
You gotta
y'all seen
read
some of
that.
my stuff in that chat. If I don't get a chance to catch it right when it hit, and it gets pushed all the way up in the chat. I'm like, man, I ain't going all the way up there trying to find that. So I'm gonna go look for that though, because I do want to read up on that because that sounds very very interesting. So once I do that, then I'll have some more to say. I'll get some more of my thoughts on it, probably on tomorrow's show. So what's your thoughts on the buzz around Nick Saban possibly returning to coaching?
Man, I think this is a great PR move from his team uh for his negotiations with ESPN, bro. I do not think he's returning to coaching. First of all, I don't think his wife want him to return to coaching.
Right,
So
right.
happy wife, happy life, dog. I don't think she want him to coach. So I think they doing this though just to get that bag higher. Am I froze?
Yeah, you froze, but we can hear you, but you froze.
There we go.
Uh, yeah, Miss Terry ain't having that. She got her husband doing exactly what she likes for him to be doing, what he does on TV, and he's golfing a lot, which is something that he loves to do. I don't think that he's going to come back to coaching. Even though I know there's going to be teams out there, there's going to be coaches out there that are going to ask him to come and coach their defense or try to get him to come to the NFL or something like that. But I think he's right where he wants to be. I don't think he wants to come back into coaching. But I mean, I guess you never know. But Miss Terry, whatever you do, don't let your husband come back to coach. Let him do what he's doing now. We really, as a fan of Nick Saban, I like seeing him where I see him at right now.
But it's a lose-lose situation too.
Yeah,
Like if he come back and start getting beat on, it's like his legacy gonna be hurt.
yeah, yeah.
And
Let me
he's
throw.
70 something, bro. He's 74.
Yeah,
That's hard.
yeah. Don't do like our man at the Las Vegas Raiders. What's his name? The coach that they got that's almost 80.
I don't know. I'm thinking about Bill Belichick, bro.
Yeah. Belichick's an old dude too. It's like you already done your thing, man. Go somewhere and chill.
Bro want to
Write a
be the new.
book. Yeah. I also heard some buzz out there around general managers in college sports becoming like general managers in professional sports and having more power to hire and fire like they do in professional sports and be over top of coaches and athletic directors. Do you think that makes sense for the college game?
Um, yeah, I do. And it's only because I feel like we move into professional anyway. It's like don't let them start getting owners and stuff. Oh, everything gonna make sense after that. And the reason why I say that is because our AD's got so many other sports to handle, bro. Like, can they really evaluate a program year to year basis? Like, I mean, if I was the GM of Ohio State, I probably would have fired Ryan Day last year. You know what I'm saying? Um, it's just, bro. Like, I feel like a GM, he specifically sole purpose is to focus on that one sport, and I think you could evaluate your programs better. So I think that's the part that makes sense.
Okay.
Maybe if you got enough cachet in the game though, we done seen coaches be the coach and the GM, you
Yeah.
know. So maybe if you got enough cachet in the game, you could be both.
Yeah. Do you think they should be the ones going out there finding the talent as well?
Um, I think every program should have a department for that already. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Like where they're actually going out to scout and do a lot of recruit. Like our recruiting director, he handles I can't think of his name, but he handles all on campus visits. Like it ain't even Ryan Day. Sometime a recruit might come to campus and they might not even see Ryan Day.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's already should be a department. But GMs, I mean, you got to make sure it's a football guy. You can't just hire anybody. So they should know what they're doing in that aspect as well. I think it's all hands on deck when it comes to recruiting. You use everything at your disposal. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So if you got a GM, say Andrew Luck at Stanford, you got to use Andrew Luck, especially if you bring in a quarterback to campus. That's Andrew Luck.
Yeah.
So I think you got to just use everything. That's bro. The recruiting is the wild, wild west, literally.
Yeah. It and you made a really good point because it is really the wild wild west. You got to use everything
For
at your
sure.
disposal because a lot of times you'll find that, and you're seeing it this year as well, that teams are high on certain players and they're not looking at maybe the third or fourth or fifth best guy at that position. They're trying to go after the best of the so-called best of the best, but then they don't get that best of the best guy, even though they've been on them from the beginning. You got to have somebody that's going out there finding 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Because if you don't get that guy, and that's a position of need, you got to get somebody that still has that the talent that could be as good as those guys that are up in the top 3 or 4.
Not
So you
facts.
definitely got to have somebody that's doing. You got to have somebody doing every. I mean, people in place to do all that needs to be done when it comes to recruiting because it's the freaking wild fast right now.
Hey, and look, man, you really seeing for real. It's starting to be a young. It's really a young man's game for real, bro. Listen. I'll be just comparing like what it looked like for my Buckeyes, and really right now it looked like we need to get rid of Larry. Larry, a legend, man. Larry's one of the greatest ever. Don't get it wrong. But these older guys, it seems like this new age is they can't keep up with this new age, bro. I think we need to get younger there, and we might need to get rid of Tim Walton, bro, because that flip, and while it wasn't ideal for the numbers in the class, because we only got one cornerback, he was really projected to be a safety, and they expecting Braylon Womack to commit. So that'd be three safeties in a cycle for us. But that flip just show you, bro, we ain't doing. And it was looking like that with Justin Fry before he went off to the NFL. We have not been landing some of these recruits that we usually would, and I think it's a direct effect to NIL, bro, and just the the leg work you got to put in because you got to pay attention to the cap. You got to actually go out and talk to a lot of these dudes. You got to talk to more dudes than you would before. You feel me? Because when money wasn't involved, somebody just be in love with your program, they just commit.
Yeah,
Now it's like you can get thrown off from anything now. So I don't know. Tim Walton we might need to look at Tim Walton. And respectfully, this class in Ohio wasn't um I wouldn't consider it like a must have because we still got like three freshman cornerbacks that we believe in. So we could miss out on a couple guys this cycle just because we know we're gonna have them next year, and then we'll be able to bring in some real key freshmen next year in that cycle. But Elbert Hill is a notorious top three cornerback committed to USC. Victor Singleton is a highly rated 4-star committed to Illinois. And then now this last case, Jacob Weatherspoon, who I think decommitted because and committed to North Carolina because he was really scared of competition. Um, but that's the top three corners in your state, and you missed out on all three. That ain't a good look.
yeah, yeah. Well, you already know how it's going to be for them. For the Buckeyes, they got those guys that they got last year that came in at a freshman. Now, in 2027 they're going to have a boatload of dudes, top notch corners that's going to come in and play because they're
I,
going to know that
yeah,
they're going to get a shot.
that's why I wasn't really worried about this recruit cycle because we still got Devin Sanchez. You know what I mean? So
Man,
it's
why,
like
why you got to say his name though?
because
Okay,
he's a monster.
I know, but you ain't got to say his name.
He's a monster.
He was supposed to be at Texas, bro.
It's all good, bro. Y'all can't
Yeah,
have them
so good.
all.
We can't have them all. Yeah. Let's go ahead and get into some of these week 8 games that we know are going to be on the slate that week. I mean, we talked a lot about uh, games this week on Tuesday and Thursday. We did the Big 12 conference and we did the ACC conference. The top 6 teams, 7 teams in those conferences that we believe are going to be really, really good and went through their schedule. And there are some monster games out there, man, every week in college football. One of which I believe is going to be this Louisville at Miami. What's your thoughts on this game? And is this a game that Louisville could possibly go into Miami and get a win in the ACC?
Yeah, I picked Miami in this game. Anything's possible. Yeah, I definitely think Louisville could go in there and get a dub. Definitely, especially if Miller Moss is balling. You know what I mean? If Miller Moss is balling by this point, and we still the jury's out on Carson Beck. So we got to see. But just on paper, man, I think Miami got too much talent for Louisville. They should win this game. Um, and hopefully that defense has improved tremendously because I want to see Miami uh, at the top. I want to see them being able to like compete with these teams that's college football playoff worthy. I want them to be that good. And It's a few more teams in that conference that can get to that point. It's going to take time. Knows we need to see them get back into what they're used to traditionally. But I got Miami in this game. I'm going to call it high scoring, though, 38-31 or something.
Yeah. I got Miami winning this game as well. It's at home. I think this is a game that they could beat Louisville. I think they have more talent than Louisville. But like you said earlier, it really depends on Carson Beck and how well he's playing at this point in week 8. Is he playing well enough to get them wins? Because he did have a stretch last season where he had about a 5 or 6 game stretch where he was lighting it up. And then, he sort of fell off a little bit towards the end of that run in their schedule. But I think that if he's playing well, this Miami team can be really, really good.
No, actually, it was the last 5 games they played. He was on a stretch
Yeah, he was on the
before he
stretch.
got hurt. He was on a nice little stretch. He wasn't turning the ball over or nothing.
Yeah. It was the last 5, and then they when he got hurt in the SEC championship game. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're correct on that.
he was looking bad in that SEC championship game though.
Yeah, well, that's because he was playing my boys.
Yeah, y'all was on his head for sure.
What's your thoughts on Tennessee and Alabama? We talked a little bit about Tennessee and the quarterback situation with that Josh Heupel was talking about. What's your thoughts on that? Are they going to be able to muster up enough defense to slow down Alabama? It's in Tuscaloosa. Can they pull out a victory, or do you think Alabama at this point is going to be clicking on all cylinders? The quarterback is going to be rolling. Ryan Williams is going to be balling, and that defense is going to be tremendous at this point. What's your thoughts on this game?
Man, I'm not gonna lie. I was saying Alabama gonna fall, 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 fall. And the closer we get to the season, and the more research I keep doing on this dude Ty Simpson, the more I don't understand why he didn't start last year over Milrow. He gave your team a better chance to win. See, and this is the thing about the board too. We seen Nick Saban pull Jalen Hurts in a national championship game. You know what I mean? Can
Yeah,
you make these tough decisions that Alabama fans is used to? Because the like if I get from what I think Ty Simpson is gonna give me this year, bruh, they're gonna be asking why you ain't pulled Milrow last year.
yeah,
They're gonna be asking that question. So I think Bama, bro, like itching towards it. That's a top 3 team, top 4 team for me, for real. Real, I'll give them top 5 because really Penn State, Ohio State, Texas, Clemson. I think them are all interchangeable teams, and I think Alabama is right in the thick of all that. So, man, I don't see Alabama losing to Tennessee in this game, especially in Tuscaloosa. Like, there is no way I could see Tennessee pulling up an upset in Tuscaloosa. That's not the type of team that will do that to me, in my estimation.
yeah. I agree with you on that. I think that this Alabama team is they're starting to it's starting to sound like they're going to be better than what I was giving them credit for maybe a month ago. And I think that they're going to be a decent, no, not better than a decent team. They're going to be a pretty good team that's going to be able to make some noise in the SEC. As long as they stay healthy and their quarterback does what he's supposed to do, I think they're going to be really, really good in the SEC. I think that they should have made play Simpson some last year as well, especially in those games you knew that Milrow was just totally off.
Yeah.
Uh, but I think we're going to run into the same situation at Texas. If Arch Manning lights it up, they're going to be saying the same thing about he should have been in there for Ewers in certain situations too.
Are you familiar with this new SEC flex slot thing they got going on?
Tell me about it. I might be, and probably just don't know the name of it.
So this week there's 3 flex games. There's 3:30 between 3:30 and 4:30 start time, or between 6 and 8. So I'm thinking that they gonna wait to slot these games. This game, Texas A&M and Arkansas, Missouri and Auburn. I think they're gonna wait to slot them, and then And I think Georgia Ole Miss, the wait to slot them until it comes around that time to figure out which one they want to be a night game.
Yeah, yeah, I'm familiar with that. Yeah, I kind of like that too.
I love it. Oh man, I love it because you want your prime time matchup to be your prime time matchup.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Fox, y'all hear that?
Man, I can't stand Fox.
What's your thoughts on Texas A&M at Arkansas? I think last year wasn't this game a really good game last year? Wasn't it a barn burner? Didn't
Uh,
Arkansas beat them?
I don't remember. Let me look
I
it
think
up.
this game was pretty good last year. Well, maybe Arkansas pitted on them. I think Taylor Green ended up beating them in this game, and he put it on them pretty good.
Oh, it wasn't a barn burner. It was a close game though.
Oh, okay, what was the final score?
21-17.
Oh, well, maybe this ain't the game I'm thinking about. When Taylor
Yeah,
Green went off on somebody.
I
I
think that
thought
was
it was
like
this.
I think that might have been like the first game Marcel Reed started too.
Yeah, yeah.
Nah,
What's
but
your thoughts on this one? Can they go into Arkansas and get one? Because this is sort of like one of those old Big Eight, uh, Big 12, no, they Big Eight rivalry games right here that used to take place between those two.
man, the world gonna depend. Arkansas season is gonna depend on what if you can have Taylor Green put that cape on or not. Uh, I just don't think this might be one of them games because he's a highly inconsistent quarterback. I love all the tools he got though, but man, Arkansas lost a lot, bro. They lost a lot to the portal, bro. So we're gonna see how their season shake up. But right as of right now, man, I don't got too much confidence on what they got around him. So I'm gonna go Texas A&M in this game.
I'm going Texas A&M as well. I think that they got too much talent, especially if that running back is healthy. Moss, is that
Yeah,
his name?
Moss. Yeah,
Yeah, Moss. And I like to see Ruben Owens get healthy and get out there as well. Because Ruben Owens was considered one of the top backs in the country 2 years ago. So hopefully Ruben Owens is back healthy and the Moss kid. Because with Moss, they're a totally different team. And I think that they're going to have too much for Arkansas. Um, so we'll have to wait and see what's going to happen with the kid from Cincinnati Bengals who said he's not going to play this season. I don't think he's going to be able to play for Texas A&M though.
he can't play in college football, period, or the Bengals is gonna hold his rights. Why would you want to go back to that situation that you in this year?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But Texas A&M, in my opinion, got the second best receiver in the portal.
Oh yeah, yeah,
The kid from NC State,
yeah.
Concepcion or something like that. He nice. He can go. He might, man. I might put him third. I like Branch too from USC. Went to Georgia.
I want to see what what's the name does too at LSU. The kid that was hurt at Oklahoma last year, Nick Anderson. Not Nick Anderson. Some Anderson that transferred to LSU. LSU got the dude from Kentucky too, Browning. Yeah, they got some burners out there, man. So LSU got some wide receivers that just gonna make some noise. I'm anxious to see what they're gonna look like with Nussmeier though.
Man, Brian Kelly, they saying this roster is super stacked. Okay. So I mean, listen, it's like no excuses over there this year.
Yeah, no excuses. Hopefully the defense will be okay though, because I think their defensive backfield might be a little bit shaky.
And look, we've been saying that, right?
Yeah,
But I guess this dude from Virginia Tech they got is supposed to be nice.
really.
Uh yeah, something Delane. He supposed to be nice. And then the other kid they got in the portal from Maryland is supposed to be nice. So I mean, it sounds like they shored up their secondary.
I sure hope so. I sure hope so because we need them to be better than what they were. Because I'd rather have Brian Kelly coach LSU when we play them in a couple of years than somebody else. that might give them a spark,
You gonna have a better chance of winning.
better chance of winning for sure.
Oh man.
What's your thoughts on Ole Miss at Georgia? Will Ole Miss be able to have a good enough team to even compete with Georgia in Athens, or they don't have a chance in hell?
See, listen, Lane Kiffin, he can coach football. Nobody gonna convince me that Lane Kiffin can't coach.
Yeah,
And this is another one of them teams that their season is gonna be defined based on how well they get quarterback play. So um, I'm not too familiar with the kid that's supposed to be starting at Ole Miss, Austin Simmons, but we're gonna see what he is. I think he a dual threat. We're gonna see though. And I mean, I think they got talent over there. I think it's talent everywhere in the SEC. Um, I don't think they're gonna beat Georgia though. Georgia own the SEC. The only teams that's gonna be able to beat Georgia is the top dogs, and that's Texas or Alabama. Everybody else, really, I don't really give them a great chance to beat Georgia.
yeah, that's facts. Georgia is they are the best team in the SEC until somebody dethrones them. I mean, it is what it is. Even though my Texas Longhorns is in the SEC now, until we defeat Georgia uh, a couple of times and they ain't beating us, then hell, the conference is Georgia's all day long. And I think in this game, they because Ole Miss, I think, beat them last year.
They
They,
beat Georgia?
I think they might have beat Georgia last
Nah,
year.
dog. I don't think so. We gotta look that one up. Hold up. We gotta look that one up. No. I don't think you can be saying
Yeah,
stuff like that on
I
stream.
think they might have beat Georgia last year. Yeah, yeah, look it up real quick. I think they might have beat
Nah,
Georgia
you
last.
right. They popped them.
Yeah, they beat Georgia last year.
You right.
Yeah, so I know Georgia is gonna have it out for they like Georgia like Kirby Smart had it out for Texas last year. He got it up on this year,
Nah,
which
facts.
might help us. So when they come to Athens, man, they gonna beat up on Ole Miss, I think, or at least beat them to where it was convincing enough, even though the score might not be astronomical. This going to be physical. And I think Georgia at this point will get their defensive issues together because they're a lot younger than what they were last year. They were very experienced last year and they lost a lot on that defense. By week 8, though, Kirby Smart and his boys will be there and fix those issues, and I think they beat Ole Miss pretty convincingly. Even though the score might not say that, I think the play on the field will.
I think though it was a lot more talent on that Ole Miss team last year too.
Yeah, yeah,
Or just unknown talent they might have this year. So let me hold that.
yeah. Because I think we really only focus basically on the starters and the stars for Ole Miss more so than we looked at the guys who were maybe in the two deep on that squad. But while you're doing that, let's look at Oklahoma at South Carolina. This is a very, very interesting game, man. I think for both of these teams, week 8, this matchup is going to let us know if these two teams are going to be able to make some noise going into the end of the season to possibly be one of the 3 or 4 teams that might make the 12-team playoffs from the SEC. What's your thoughts on this game? Can South Carolina pull it out at home against what is going to be a really good Oklahoma defense?
So this is gonna be a hard game for Oklahoma because they got y'all the week before. Uh and I think they're gonna beat y'all. So after an emotional win like that, bro, if you can double up, you should be playing for a national title. Like you should be in national title contention easily if you could win both of these games in back-to-back weeks. I don't see them winning. Either they're gonna go 0-2 or they're gonna go 1-1. They ain't going 2-0. You know what I'm saying? I don't see them going 2-0 in these 2 weeks. So I'm gonna take South Carolina. And when we get to the SEC, and we doing the over and unders, you probably hear me say a 0.5. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think South Carolina wins this game simply because if Oklahoma beats Texas, they're going to be drained from the victory. And if they lose, they're going to be licking their wounds. So I think this is a prime time for South Carolina to get Oklahoma at home and beat them. Because I think Oklahoma's probably going to come out flat in this game. And South Carolina's going to have an easier advantage. Even though I think it could be a really, really good game, I kind of wish it wasn't right after the Texas game because I think we will see a better matchup if it wasn't right after the Red River rivalry. But I got
Nah,
South Carolina.
this the big bad SEC. Draw them back to back to back to back to back.
I feel you. I feel you. Washington at Michigan. Washington beat Michigan last year. Can Michigan right the ship? Will Underwood be the starter at this point? Will he be clicking? Will he be the man? Can he beat Washington at home in the big house?
Yeah, he can beat them. I like Washington. I think they're gonna be decent. I don't think they're gonna be like cupcake. I think they got a good, nice little backfield tandem with their quarterback and running back, but I don't think they're gonna beat Michigan, bro. Michigan, they got the same recipe they've been running since they won a national championship in a couple years before that. They're gonna run the ball and play good defense, and I think that's enough to beat most teams in the country for real. And it's no different with Washington. Washington don't want to play with a type of pace. Teams that want to play with pace, it's kind of a bad matchup when you go up against Michigan because they're gonna slow that game down. You know what I mean? And playing in the big house ain't no joke. So I'm gonna take Michigan in this game to beat Washington. Low score though, maybe 24-13 or something like that.
Before this game, I'm gonna have to try to find a way to watch Washington and see what Washington looks like because I know absolutely nothing about this team other than they beat Michigan last year. Um, but I think I agree with you on the fact that Michigan is going to slow this thing down to a crawl. They're going to be more run oriented than probably we've seen them. And we already know that they're a really run oriented team. I think that Michigan wins this game in the big house. But I'm really anxious to see Washington before this game to see what they even look like because I know absolutely nothing about them. But I got Michigan winning this game. Even though it's probably going to be, it won't be a high scoring game, but it'll be one of those games where you're going to have limited possessions. So if you get 8 possessions, you're lucky.
So this is what I could tell you a little bit about Washington. Um, this quarterback they got, he was a true freshman last year. His name is Desmond Williams. He didn't play a lot earlier in the year, but he played towards the end. And I mean, he got about maybe 3 games of work, right? Bro completed 78% of his passes as a
Ooh.
true freshman. So that's why I'm saying like he got a high ceiling. It's just he young, but that running back was over 1,000 yards too. So I like that tandem they got now. I think they need to shore up some stuff on defense, but I like what I seen from them at the end of the year last year for sure.
Thanks for that. So that way I know what to look for when I'm watching them before this game, this upcoming season. Penn State at Iowa. This is not going to be an easy game for Penn State. It's going to be physical. It's going to be grueling. It's going to be a game where Iowa's going to try to limit possessions and keep Drew Aller on the sideline. Can Iowa beat this Penn State team in this matchup?
Let me see. Oh yeah, Penn State played Northwestern the week before. Bums. I'm just hey, them week before games be mattering, bro.
They do.
So
They
I'll be
do.
happy to see who playing who. You feel me? Iowa got Wisconsin the week before at Camp Randall. Oh yeah, I remember we was talking about that game last week. I listen, Penn State gonna win this game. I do not think it's gonna be easy by any stretch though. It's gonna be one of them low scoring games too. Drew Aller just don't. Penn State. The type of Iowa. The type of defense they run is they keep everything in front of you, so it won't be explosive plays in this game.
Mhm.
That's gonna cause for a low score, but that 1-2 running back punch is going. They're gonna be able to pull this game out.
Yeah, I think the running game for Penn State is going to be the difference in this game as well, especially down the stretch. You're going to need those horses to go ahead and grind clock and get you a late score to go ahead and seal that victory. So I got Penn State winning this as well. I don't know if Iowa is going to have as good or if they're going to even have a good offense yet. But I do think that they got a quarterback that could possibly help them be better than what they were a year ago. Ohio State at Wisconsin. Is this going to be a thumping in Wisconsin, even though they're going to be doing the jump around in the fourth quarter?
Nah, we're not gonna thump them. This is a trap game, the complete trap game. We played Illinois the week before.
Ooh,
Um, this is a classic let down Ohio State game that you see on the schedule for real. So I'm really like low key nervous for this game because if we go out and we just put all our energy and effort into beating Illinois because it's a lot of talk about them, woo, 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 and we end up in a hard fought match. I don't know how I'm not sure how our guys is going to get up for Wisconsin knowing that they're a bad team, and that's where it can turn out to be bad. You know what I mean? This is how we lose to Purdue's back in 2012 or something.
well,
This is how these games happen, bro. Because they don't come to play sometimes after big games. So I don't think we thump them. I think we squeak out with a win though. Just like the Nebraska game last year, maybe 24 to 14 or something. It's gonna be way closer than it was supposed to be.
yeah, I think Wisconsin is due for at least one or two games a year at home where they have a really good football team that comes in there to play them, and they sort of make this thing close and interesting. I don't know by week 8 if it's going to be this game right here against Ohio State. I think at this point, Julian Sain will be clicking on all cylinders. He'll know how to get the ball to his dynamic wide receivers, and their running game will be going pretty good. I think Ohio State definitely beats Wisconsin by at least 14 or more.
Hey, last year it was week 7. I just want you to keep that in
Yeah, yeah,
mind.
yeah, 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 yeah. Facts. SMU at Clemson. Will SMU be able to do anything with Clemson at this point in the schedule?
No, we kind of touched on it with the ACC pod. Like I don't see Clemson really losing to anybody in the regular season in their conference at all. So, uh, but SMU returned a lot. I think, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll see. Kevin Jennings ain't no slouch now.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. This Clemson team, they're gonna be they fixed that defensive run game, uh, so they're gonna be hard to beat. They got arguably the best quarterback in college football, especially with the number of years he's played. I think they're going to be hard to beat. I don't know who they're going to have at the running back, but I'm quite sure you can plug and play there because they're going to have somebody who can tote the rock for sure. So I got Clemson beating them pretty good in this game. I don't even think SMU is going to be able to compete with them at all.
Mm.
Another good matchup that we talked about when we did the Big 12, we got Texas Tech at Arizona State. Arizona State is at home in this game. They got a really good quarterback. We know what Texas Tech has done with NIL and in the portal. How do you see this game going?
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I took Texas Tech in this game. But this is one of them games that we could talk about it once every week, and we probably gonna flip and flip and flip until the season comes, until we see these teams play. Um, but I'm just saying, all the hype building around this Texas Tech team, I want to see it, bro. If Texas Tech can become a staple and just really, and really just be one of them teams for real, like that's just good every year, and really not having no season below 8-4, always in that 8, 9, 10 win range. I think that could pick up the Big 12 so much because they are in a Texas market, and you just can't. Texas market is Texas. You feel me? It's Texas. It ain't Texas University. It is Texas Tech, but it's Texas. That's all that matters. You know what I mean? So we're gonna see. But Sam Levitt, that's a bad boy. That's a bad boy. You know what I mean? So uh this is I expect a great game. This is gonna probably be one of the games of the year. Probably one of the best games that we're gonna see in the Big 12 this year too. So we gotta keep that in mind too. And they going on the road playing at Arizona State. So I'm going with Texas Tech though. I'm leaning towards them because I think their roster is way more balanced than Arizona State. And I still do not like the fact that Cam Scatterbo is needed to be replaced. I thought he was the heart and soul of that team. And everybody know I speak very highly of Sam Levitt, and I think he's probably the best quarterback prospect for the NFL that we got out there right now. But I think Texas Tech just owned the portal this year, man. And if they can put it together, they're gonna be scary.
Yeah, you definitely were the first person to hit me to Sam Levitt. And once you started talking about him last year, then I started to hear other shows mentioning Sam Levitt, but I didn't know he even existed until you mentioned him to me on one of the streams. So then that made me start paying attention to him. He's really, really good. But Scatterboo definitely is the heart and soul of that team. If they can get a guy back there that can do some things, they're going to be good. Their coaching staff really know how to scheme up to play defense on teams, and they're going to be really good at defense. And I think that they could make this game interesting, probably in the first 3 quarters. But then I think Arizona State gets pulled away from by Texas Tech, and Texas Tech win by about 10 in this game. I got Texas Tech winning it. But like you said earlier, one week we're gonna be probably saying Arizona State. The next week we probably gonna be saying Texas Tech. All
Nah,
the way up, going back and forth until this game is played. Because I'm quite sure both of those teams are gonna show us something that's gonna make us think, no, they can't win, or yeah, they can win.
hey, and I think they both got really tough games the week before. Um, Arizona State is going to travel to Utah,
Ooh,
and Texas Tech is going to play at home against Kansas. So I think they both got
ooh,
really tough games the week before.
they both got really, really thick. And like you said earlier, those games right before matter, man. Going into that next game, it matters.
At KT, I don't know how no feel, but we mentioned Donald Trump in one stream, and we got a copyright strike. So I don't know if he want to talk about it or not. You feel us?
Right now, they don't want you saying much about anything political on YouTube, man. So we
But
might,
nah, that's talking about the executive order on NIL deals though. So I don't
yeah,
know. You
yeah. We talked about that a little bit earlier too, but I didn't put his name in there because I don't want to get I don't want to get that. But as far as that executive order goes, KT, I think they need to let everything play off. We talked about it a little bit earlier in this stream. Just let everything play out because those guys uh, that are affiliated with college sports, they're going to figure this thing out, man, and they're going to be able to do what they need to do. Let it go ahead and play out, and they continuously fix things year in and year out until they get it to where it needs to be. I don't think we need anybody to do any executive orders to make to put a cap on players getting this money. I don't think they need to do that. I think they need to just go ahead and let it play out.
Yeah, I was in agreement too. I think they just need to go revisit it every summer and just fix something until it's all the way fixed.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on Utah at BYU? This is a battle for the state game right here.
Yeah, I'm going with Utah, man. You already know. I got Utah in my top 3, 4 in the Big 12, man. I think Utah gonna surprise y'all this year, man. So I'm going Utah in this game.
If I ain't mistaken, I think I might have picked a .5 in this game. But BYU was at home in Provo, even though it shouldn't make that much of a difference because they both play football in the state of Utah. I think it's going to be a good matchup. Probably one of those state rivalry games. But I think Utah, I'm going to go with Whittingham and the fact that I know he's going to have his boys gritty and ready to play. So I'm going to pick Utah to win this game, but I think it's going to be a bruising game. Whoever they play the next week might pop them because they're going to battle for sure.
Yeah.
We got Baylor at TCU. This is a game that I think we all was kind of weighing between .5 or maybe Baylor winning it. What's your thoughts? Can TCU at home in Fort Worth pull out this win over Baylor, a team that we think is going to be towards the top 4 or 5 in this conference as well?
Yeah, I think we all it's like stuff about TCU, but it's so unknown. I think people are a little on the edge about TCU because this is not a team that's too far away from playing for a national championship. This was 4 years ago. What was it, 4 years ago?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, 4 years. So this is a program that has seen recent success.
yeah.
Um, so it's just kind of tricky picking TCU matchups right now, but I'm going Baylor, bro. Like, you heard post game say he was high on them. I've been high on them. Sawyer Robertson, I think they got talent on the outside. Now the question mark is that offensive line. We're gonna see what that offensive line is like, but I think they got talent everywhere else. So as long as they can figure out that offensive line, they should be right in the thick of the Big 12. I'm going Baylor on the road for bragging rights, for little bro bragging rights.
Yeah, I think Dave Aranda has been able to right the ship after winning winning the Big 12 maybe about 5 or 6 years ago. He's been able to get that team back on the right track. They're going to have a really good running game. He always bolsters a good defense. He's a really good defensive minded coach. I think that they win this game in Fort Worth against TCU. But I'm anxious to see what TCU looks like as well. It's going to be another one of those teams like Washington that I'm going to try to catch a game or two or parts of a game or two just so I can get a feel for who they are and what they got and what they're working with.
They was solid last year, though. They, I
Yeah,
mean,
they
they
were
went
decent.
8-4.
Yeah,
They returned
they
their
were better than
quarterback.
I thought they would be.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like their coach. I like
Oh yeah, Sonny
Sonny,
Dykes is a
Sonny
good coach,
Dykes. Yeah, I
bro.
like Sonny Dykes. Yeah.
Real good coach.
Last game we got on the slate, we're coming right up on an hour, which is right where we want to be, is UNLV at Boise State. Will these two teams, like last year, be the two teams that are vying for that spot in the college football playoffs from the group of 6 ranks? What's your thoughts on this game? It's in Boise State, which is going to be have a difficulty factor for UNLV, but can UNLV do something?
Yeah, these teams is gonna be up for the non-power four bid as well as Navy, Tulane, and I want to say Memphis and East Carolina. So I mean, this could determine a lot depending upon what Boise does in the Mountain West. If they can somehow go get close to undefeated again, we know they lost Ashton Genty, but I think they returned down near everything else on their offense. And they got Mad Max back, so you got your quarterback back. Boise State should be really good again, bro. So we're gonna see how this game play out. Early pick, I'm gonna pick Boise State because it is hard going into Boise State, winning at Boise State. It just the field make your head hurt. So I'm going with Boise State in this one. Now Orgy went over to UNLV, man, and that's a big boy. That's a Big Ten size caliber quarterback that's about to be playing a now non-power four. But I seen him. He couldn't throw a 5 yard pass. He was throwing 5 yard passes into the dirt, bro. So we gonna see. He is totally a wild card though. So it depends on how he looked early in the year. I could switch my pick when I come back around to this game.
Yeah, what I'm hoping is since he's playing against maybe a tier down or two tiers down, because in high school he wasn't a great throwing quarterback, but he wasn't as horrible as we saw him be against much different competition when he was playing at Michigan. Maybe in this league he'll be more confident and they'll be able to scheme some things up for him, some easy throws to help him get in the rhythm, and they could possibly uh, give Boise State a game. But I think with them losing Brennan Marion as their offensive coordinator and that go offense for UNLV, I think that's going to be the difference for them. They're breaking in a whole new system. I think Boise State wins this game. They're always Boise State's just an always solid program. They're always one of the top non-power four schools that's out there. So I definitely think that they're going to probably win this game and probably win it kind of easily, sort of like they did when they played for that conference championship, I believe.
Yeah. Hey, and look, they got 8 projected starters from the portal on offense and 9 projected starters from the portal on defense. But they got Dan Mullen too. Dan Mullen is a solid football coach.
Yeah, he's a really solid football coach for sure, for sure. Last thing I'm gonna say on this executive order, man, is we got we got a whole lot of other pressing things that we need to deal with. That we don't need to be worried about no daggone uh, entertainment. You know what I'm saying? This is college football is entertainment. We don't need nobody to do anything with that. It'll work itself out. It'll definitely work itself out. So KT is asking, how many teams are coming out of the Big Ten and SEC for the playoffs, and what teams are they?
But I think until they change the format, you're gonna see the same method. It's gonna be um, either Big Ten or SEC teams, and then whichever one don't get 4, the next one's gonna get 3. So, and just the way it's lined up, I think the Big Ten got to get 4 again this year, and the SEC is gonna beat each other up again, so they're gonna have to get 3. Um, I expect Penn State, Ohio State, and a combination of Indiana or Illinois all to be at least 10-2 or better.
Yeah.
So them are my 4 from, and the SEC is gonna be Texas, Georgia, and whoever else you want to throw in there. It's gonna be it's gonna be too volatile to predict the third team.
KT, I really believe that this is a year that both the SEC and the Big Ten could possibly one or the other could possibly, or even both could possibly only get 3 teams, because I really do believe that the Big 12 will be competitive enough to where they could get 2 teams in there, possibly even 3. And then you got the ACC, who could definitely get 2 teams in there, possibly even 3, just based on the fact that they got some teams in both of those conferences, the Big 12 and the ACC, that could possibly be ranked higher than maybe the fourth ranked Big 10 team or the fourth ranked SEC team. But I definitely believe that Ohio State will be there. I believe that Oregon will be there. I think that Illinois might be the other team that squeak in there, and Penn State if we get 4 teams from the Big Ten. But they might only get 3: Ohio State, Penn State, Oregon. And then in the SEC,
I
I
forgot about
believe
me.
I believe we're gonna get Texas, Georgia, maybe Alabama. I think. Well, I will say this: the Big Ten, I believe, has a better chance of getting four teams in than the SEC does, unless LSU can be really good, which I don't know if they're going to be able. They got a pretty tough schedule. I don't know if they're going to be able to get enough wins to get there. But I think the Big Ten has a better chance of getting four teams this year again than the SEC does. But I think that it's the Big 12 and the ACC gonna have something to say about it too.
I think a lot of this depends on too what happens with Notre Dame this year, though.
Yeah,
Because do you leave a two-loss Notre Dame team out of the playoff if, let's just say, they lose to Miami the first game of the year and then they turn around and lose to USC later on in the year? Do you think their resume will be good enough to still let Notre Dame in? That's a question that we are going to wait to see and find out if they do actually lose a couple games this year, because Notre Dame takes a slot from all conferences. You know what I mean? So that's a big thing. Regardless of the Big Ten and the SEC get a combined of 7 or 6, that's still a full slot. So let's just say they get 3. Both the SEC and the Big Ten do get 3. Notre Dame don't make it. That's 2 extra spots for the Big 12 and the ACC, and that's a big number. 2 teams is a big number when you're talking about splitting hairs and crossing teams out of this playoff.
yeah. You brought in a really interesting point and a really good point too, because if Notre Dame loses to either one of those conference teams, like a USC or a Texas A&M, and what's the other team you mentioned?
Uh,
USC.
USC.
USC. They play USC, Texas A&M, and who's the other?
They play NC State. They play Boise State.
I think they play somebody else that's really good though.
Now they play Miami, Texas A&M, and
Miami.
USC.
Miami is the other one. So if they lose to, that's three of the other conferences, the three best conferences in college football. If they lose any combination of any of those two games, the committee is probably going to say, well, you had a chance to at least defeat, you know, somebody good in each one of those conferences, and you lost to two of them. Maybe you're not deserving of even being this 12-team playoff.
And let alone don't let them 2 out of them 3 teams win them games and not be in the top 3 or 4 in their conference, because
Right.
then it's gonna really look bad for you for Notre Dame.
Yeah. You're going to need them to be at the top in order to even get somebody to have some sympathy for you, for sure. But that was a really good question there, KT. It brought out a lot of content and discussion. But I believe that they both going to definitely get at least three. One of them should get four, but it really is going to depend on the ACC and the Big 12 if both of them don't get four.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I think the Big 12 gonna beat up on each other so much though. It's gonna be the same thing like last year. Their winner probably gonna have 2 or 3 losses.
Yeah, yeah, which it is not going to look good to the committee at all, especially
Now,
most of them against a Big Ten or SEC team. They
well, they
got,
got a chance though.
oh yeah,
It depends on what happens in these first 3 or 4 weeks of the season when they playing these non-conference games.
yeah,
Because if you can win those games and then y'all go beat everybody, beat each other up, it looks like y'all are a better conference than, you know what I mean, what it looks like, because y'all beating each other up and everybody ending up with 3 and 4 losses. So you gotta. That's why non-conference games still matter,
yeah,
because this is a way where you could show the strength of your conference by facing other foes, and you can actually pick up like the ACC. If you win some of these non-conference games, like Clemson playing LSU in South Carolina, if you could beat them, now when your commissioner go back to the drawing table, you could be like, bro, our top team is better than some of y'all top teams. So why are y'all saying that we only deserve 1 bid every year or 2 bids every year? It should be equal, right? But
yeah.
that's why non-conference and results of bowl games matter.
Did you hear the one guy something Dellinger, and he was talking about a 30 team playoff where you got all these play-in games to really get up to the 16 teams that are going to be playing once they get the 16 teams. It was pretty interesting. They were saying that like you would have four playing games in the SEC, four playing games in the in all the four major conferences. They would have four playing games to see which one of those four teams could get up in that. Um, they'd be vying for maybe a couple of positions in the 16 team format. Which
So
I didn't listen to all of it to get the logistics on it all, but it sounded pretty interesting.
so was he saying like play like a 8 game schedule and then kind of do like a round robin thing and play four more to get to the 12 games and then after them 4 games go. I don't know. I
I
want
think it
that's
was
not.
more like 10 games, and then you would have like remember how we talked about earlier where you have uh, uh, three versus six and four versus five in the conference. One and two will automatically be in there, but those four games right there will those two games will be played in another two games in the ACC, another two games in the Big 12 and Big 10. I didn't listen to all of it, but he was saying something about it like a 30 team format to get to that point where you got those 16 teams. A lot of playing games, rather.
Yeah, it sound interesting.
Yeah. I'm going to have to go back and listen to him again and see
You got
exactly what he's saying.
yeah, send that to me. I wanna check that out.
Okay. Yeah, I'll find it and send it to you. Yeah. All right, well, that's all I had, bro. I appreciate you joining us. Thanks to everybody who was in the chat. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you share our videos. Make sure that you subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Ask some of your family and friends to subscribe to our channel. We're really trying to grow this thing. We've been doing really, really good. We're coming up on 1 year, our 1 year anniversary, coming up on July the 27th. So continue to support us. We have several other channels where each one of the individuals that you see on this panel, they all have their own channel. So go subscribe to FanDuel Zayas podcast. Go subscribe to Level Up Sports Team. Our man Parlay Poe has Blitzburg podcast, and our man Post Game has Post Games uh, podcast. You want to go subscribe to all of those channels, and you can find our man T1, somebody else, a man of many hats on Facebook at City League TV. That's all I got for today, bro. I appreciate you joining me.
For
Thanks
sure.
everyone in the chat, and we out.
Peace.
Peace.